story for you. My dad's parents lived in Detroit and retired to Port Huron or Port Sanilac, which is on the side of the thumb in Michigan, on Lake Huron, near Lexington and Sandusky. And my grandfather had been in the Navy in World War II as a photographer, so he absolutely loved sailboats and sailing, and I didn't know them when they were young enough to still be sailing and camping and doing all the fun retirement stuff. They were a little older when I knew them. But I loved going to their house in the summer because they had built this cute little white cottage with black trim, like a Cape Cod, across the street from Lake Huron. And I remember asking my grandmother why they didn't get lakefront property back when it was cheap. And she said she didn't regret the decision to be across the street because every time a wave would hit the break wall in winter across the street, their paintings, their framed photos on the walls would shake and jump. If you've ever seen a crazy photo of a completely frozen over facade of a house, like in Lake Erie, upstate New York, where the storms come in the winter, it's kind of like that on the Michigan side of Lake Huron in the winter, because that's the eroding side. The prevailing winds pile up sand on the east sides of all the Great Lakes and then erode on the west. And either way, if you're in a spot where there's a ton of wind across a lake, or you're right on the edge of something, you can get your entire back of your house crusted in ice. So that is why we didn't get to visit right on Lake Huron, but we would walk down to the Lighthouse and the pier, which is like a block away. They have a little ice cream shop right under the Lighthouse. Like if you go into the park right in the heart of Port Sanilac, if you're ever there, and pull in to park right where the marina is, basically. There's an ice cream shop that's kind of like down behind the Lighthouse that's really awesome. And the Lighthouse itself is cool because it's got this really neat red brick facade and kind of like angled like this, that kind of roof line. But it also has a really beautiful tower. And I went there once with my sister in the summer and stayed in the upper unfinished floor of their Cape Cod after walking straight through what I think was some sort of, what do you call it, a land spout or a EF0 tornado maybe, but it was, a swirling wind that almost knocked us over and almost knocked us into a ditch because this huge shelf cloud came out. We were walking past the Lighthouse and got caught up in this and then spent the night basically watching the lightning over Lake Huron. So I absolutely adore lighthouses, and especially visiting them in the summer because you can usually get a tour and there's like spiral iron staircases that you can go up in a lot of them. I know the one that's near Mears and Ludington and Manistee, those are kind of like that. So if you were ever near a lighthouse in the Great Lakes, definitely see if they have day tours. And the reason I'm bringing this up, besides my little lighthouse contest that I want you to enter, send me a photo on social media, Silverside's House or Lorelei Author platforms, on Instagram or wherever else you find us, of your favorite lighthouse and your favorite story, like why it's your favorite. And I'll pick one for a free copy of a book that has lighthouses in it, and maybe use that location in a book. So the other reason I'm bringing that up is that you can sometimes stay in one of these Great Lakes lighthouses as a keeper. Sometimes you have to commit to like staying with a certain number of people or for a certain length of time, and sometimes it's a shorter length of time, like a commitment. So keep an eye out. If you watch MLive website, which is like a Michigan news site of some condensed newspapers, or the Department of Natural Resources will often have postings about this. But you have to sign up for it in like January, February. So I found out about these things because I was looking for vacations, and January, February keeps me living in Michigan to not have to deal with the cold without knowing I'm going to the beach within 6 months. So I've never been able to do one of these things, but I think it looks absolutely amazing. Some of them are very remote, and you have to be able to do a little bit of maintenance or give tours, but it's pretty light duty compared to what a normal lighthouse keeper would have had to do before they automated these things. So that might be a really, really cool way to get a remote work test drive in the Great Lakes, and I just wanted you to know. So probably about 6 months ahead of time is when you need to be doing that planning.